Linda Hubbard. I'm with Artists for a Better World, and we're interviewing Barbara Cordova, who's the founder of the group. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Linda.
It's great to see you.
Great to see you.
And how about telling me a little bit about why you started this group, Artists for a Better World, and what you think about the whole society as far as art goes. And I know you have some great opinions and interesting ideas.
Oh, great. Yes, I definitely have some ideas. And basically, my ideas started many years ago when I was probably in my 20s, and I came up with the idea for a story about artists. And I surely, over the years, I wrote it. It's called Mission of the Artist, which also has music written into it, because I was a musician before I was a writer, and I had a story I wanted to tell. It's about a magical planet of artists that were doing incredible, beautiful things, and just uplifting the world, through their art.
Right.
And some things go wrong later on, and they get into trouble, and I thought, artists need a group.
Yes.
And I came up with the idea in the 90s, and then we were official in 97. We started doing business as Artists for a Better World. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, I started gathering some artists, going out to art fairs, promoting the idea of the arts, and also social betterment. Because not only is it important to do arts, but to support good causes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That actually makes a difference between an artist is just on his own in his studio and someone that's also reaching out to help others in a nonprofit way.
Exactly, and we did finally become a nonprofit. We're an official nonprofit, which has opened up the doors for even, more reach out there and more supporters. We have people that are not just artists, but they are supporters of the arts.
Right.
Because, ultimately, if you go back through history, when the arts were flourishing, they had patrons. They had people supporting these artists so that they could create the beauty in, the Renaissance period and stuff. So It's very important to, of course, have the artists and support them and have a nice group where we support one another. And also those who don't do arts, they love the arts. I've never met a person who didn't love the arts.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I love your story, and I look forward to seeing the website.
Yes, well, we have artistsforabetterworld.art, and we are expanding. We've got videos up there about our projects, and we have a new directory. If someone joins now, they can be part of our new artist directory. We encourage like-minded artists who want to create a better world through art and social betterment to join us.
Absolutely, because they can actually put some of their pictures up there and their bio, and they can write their own story, and it's all open to the public.
Yes, it is. Any like-minded artists, and it's not expensive. Of course, if someone wants to be a higher level member and donate to the cause, they're welcome to do that too. It's all on the website, and you can see our newsletters on the website. You can see everything, and it's building and growing.
Excellent. Now, when you start a group like this, I know that there's been a survey that you did on all your artists too, and it was really interesting. We'll get to that too in a little bit. But there's something going on in society today that I think people spot, and especially artists. And I want you to let me know what you think about what's happening.
Well, first of all, there are a lot of interesting things happening, good and bad, in the arts. Of course, one of the things is when artists do not have a place to perform or show their art or go out and see movies that they've created, things like that, it can be a little depressing because, artists like to communicate, and a lot of them have good intentions. They've done their art because they want to change conditions. They want to change the world. This has, become a real surveyed item. Artists really do. Now, some of them may do it in a way that's, more degraded or not so, uplifting, but they're expressing an emotion, expressing something.
Right.
Because they're
Negative
frustrated.
emotion sometimes.
Negative
just
emotion.
To get it out. Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is, that when they don't have these venues to go to, they rely a lot on the internet and going online and social media. So that part is booming because that's what they rely on. But it can be dehumanizing in that you're not in a live audience. You can't interact with people.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you can't ask them, what does this communicate to you, and find out anything from people that look at your art. and understand what they think of the art.
Exactly. And you don't get the applause. You don't get, like at an art gallery, the people commenting, like you said, it's like there's no interaction. And this is such a, harmful thing to the arts. And I know some artists have turned to drugs. They've gotten depressed. They've, gone down, a bad rabbit hole, unfortunately.
Right.
So therefore, we're on a different path here with Artists for a Better World.
I understand, because now you went on the survey, you asked them, why is it important to contribute to making a better world? And you had like 97%, almost 100% of your guys said, the ones that have joined your group, and because that's what they are here to do. They're here to help people, and also it helps themselves, and they feel better about themselves because they've been able to do something that actually helps society.
Right. Well, yes, I can comment on this and say that people love to help. In general, good people do love to help.
Yeah.
Artists love to create beautiful effects.
Right.
It makes them feel good when they lift somebody's tone, they help somebody who is depressed or sick or not doing well, and they get their art out there, and it just it changes conditions. I know myself when I listen to a beautiful song that's inspirational, and it makes me more motivated. So when artists can do that, they feel good. Of course, they get their own art out there, but they help somebody. And the bottom line is that most artists have that as a purpose, and especially in our group, because we all kind of think alike in this group. We have a common purpose to do that.
Absolutely. In fact, there's a lot of betterment activities that's been done by our group. So,
Yes.
And because I'm in the group as well as an artist, I'm a
Right.
painter. But I always thought we needed to have something that really brings everybody together, something that actually can create something that is bigger than us. And so when you have a nonprofit, that's what happens. You're going out and you're reaching people. You have, the common sense values of Way to Happiness. That booklet is really good to pass out. And our artwork is right on the cover.
Right.
People can do both, and our name with the artwork, so they can actually see both, and they actually experience something that they can read that has common sense values, and it's very positive, as well as seeing some nice art. What's better than that?
Yes, and just to add on that, exactly, when the chaos hit the USA, last year,
Yeah.
I decided that's it. We need to get out thousands of the Way to Happiness books, Common Sense, Guide to Better Living. And the Way to Happiness Foundation has all these custom covers you can get. Now, we have one with our logo. We got out thousands with our beautiful Artists for Better World logo.
Right.
And there's, this picture there, logo, and also our artists. We had many artists contribute their artwork to the covers. And when we handed them out, we were down at the Santa Monica Promenade, and we give someone a beautiful, a piece of art on the cover, and it's not just a book, there's art, and then they open it up, and then they see all these great principles, like, especially at the end, flourish and prosper, all these precepts that they can read, but it's given, with the art on the cover. So we got out thousands of those, and people thanked us profusely. We need happiness now. They're struggling. So that was a very successful project.
Yes, in fact, those kind of projects can calm down a whole area of the city or state or whatever's happening. And that's very interesting to use art that way.
Yes, and not only that, but we have, for instance, another project we support, which it's called Get High on Art, Say No to Drugs, which is actually something I came up with. It's written into a book that I wrote, and these characters, they do this project, and I put it into the real world. So we would go out to places, and we would have kids drawing their image of a better world with creation and no drugs, and also hand out Truth About Drugs booklets.
Right.
And one of our poets got a poem she wrote. I said, we need a poem for this project. She wrote a poem called Get High on Art, and it went out to 1,000 people in the books we distributed.
Right.
So that's the beauty of our group, is we support social betterment, but we do it through the arts very often. And when you add that extra touch of aesthetics, people respond and it lifts them up, and it's just that extra, beauty added to the message, and it makes a difference. They really get it.
That's exactly true. And that's what's so great about this group, because everybody in it is kind of getting behind the same cause. And that's what you can, when you do that, you get power.
Right.
And the power of spreading some joy, spreading some real good, positive ideas, aesthetics, whether it's, the books, the music, the sculpture, the painting, creating anything. All of the artists in the group can actually do something that they can feel good about and also make someone else feel good. And it came up right on the survey. I was
right. It's very true. And also, we've had many projects where we just needed something special song. We had a human rights project we were doing, got out truth about human rights, and we had one of our musicians who did this beautiful song, called Freedom for All, and it's gone all over, and we've made a video out of it, put it all over, the internet. And then of course we have other poets, we have artists that, like I said, contribute the way to happiness. We also had to end the year, a beautiful calendar.
Oh, that's right.
I said we're going to do a calendar this year for 2021, and we put the word out to our visual artists, and we said who wants to contribute their paintings, and the ones that got in were so thankful. Oh, thank you, what a beautiful calendar. It's just it was so professionally done by Lala Rose, our designer, and so just things like that. So we ended a very, kind of stressful year for the world, but going out and giving those calendars out at the end of the year, it just brightened people's day, it brightened the artists, and it's a calendar with a quote. It's like the calendar picture and then a nice quote next to it.
Right.
And in fact, you have one, Linda, you have one in there with your daughter dancing beautiful, and it has one of my favorite quotes, to the joy of creating by L. Ron Hubbard. The quotes are just bring that extra, uplifting message to the whole piece.
Yeah, and they look at it for a month.
Right.
It's not to like. Beautiful art and a quote.
So yes, we are very unique in this way as a group.
Right. That's what I wanted to get across, and I know that our audience is interested in something like that too, because there's a lot of artist groups out there. And also, I know that you have other groups join you. There's other artist groups that are, asked to join up. And if this was a project all over the world, just think what would happen.
Right. Well, ultimately, we are planting seeds. We have artists throughout the U.S., different states throughout the U.S., some in Europe. And if somebody really wanted to take initiative and start a little chapter in their area, that is always good. Or we have a group that's already formed and we work together. There's somebody in the Chicago, Illinois area who already has a group, and we're talking about, okay, how can we work together? She does Saturday sketch game, for artists all around the world. And it's like, okay, and we're artists for a better world. So we plant these seeds with these artists, and, magic happens. We did that with in Florida with Carrie Goulston of the Global Pioneers, who also has a band called the Jam Band, and we did about 4, showcases.
Right.
They're Zoom showcases, and he had people. He had a celebrity from China. He had a couple Harlem Globetrotters artists.
He was great. I saw that.
So those are the kind of seeds that we're looking to plant. And that's kind of like a very important message is if you're out there and you've started something, or you think maybe you can't do it all on your own and you need some support, well, that's what we're about. Not only we support the artists, we connect to like-minded artists, and I just have to finish this by saying there are some very special groups in LA I've worked with. One is called SongNet with Jimmy Yamagichi. He's a very special musician, songwriter. He's helped hundreds of musicians launch their careers, do seminars for them, and so some of his members have joined as our members. Some of our people have gone to his showcases. So those are the kind of interactions that are just priceless. And same with Songs Alive with Jilly Moon. She's have so many musicians, songwriters she's helped. And same thing, we've interchanged, our people with their people, and it's just a great relationship.
I love that. So when you're talking about the world and you're getting together the artists, what do you really envision happening if you actually had a lot of artist groups that were all joining up and had the same kind of interest as far as helping others as well as themselves and uplifting messages?
Right. Well, several things can happen. They have happened and they will happen again. When you say that, I picture like a big arts festival that we can do, and we can have, showcases. We have seminars for artists.
Online as well as live?
Well, it depends on, if we can do them live, we certainly will, because it's more effective to have, a live event.
Right.
And, I'm just saying, like, picturing like an ideal scene for the artist. It's really, you have amazing concerts. You have dance troupes out there. You have art galleries with amazing art and, films. I mean, it's just all the arts coming together to create a better world. And the type of messages would have to do with things that are inspiring, uplifting, inspirational. It doesn't all have to be, enthusiastic. I mean, there's arts communicate at all different levels of emotion, but it's something that someone's going to go to and they're going to go, oh my God, I've always wanted to do such and such, or I've always wanted to be this kind of artist, and they go off and they do that. Like, how many musicians have listened to someone like Chick Corea, and that just, helped them launch their music career, or, just famous artists that people see, and it inspires them to then do their create, whether it's in that same art form or it's just they suddenly go, oh my gosh, I have to do this thing I've always been wanting to do. So that's the effect it creates, and you cannot cut that out of society, because it'll just make things depressed and, not as motivated for people to be as motivated to do. The arts motivate, they inspire.
Exactly. And also, when you think about it, it's the arts that does attract an interest and uplift people, because they see a beautiful picture, they hear a beautiful song, and those kinds of things are the things that really you want to get across all over the world. It doesn't matter what country you're in. They all have their own art forms.
Right. And it is a common language that people, beings have in common. There's one beat, there's rhythm. It's the same beat whether you're in, Africa, or you're in Pakistan, or you're in LA, wherever, it's a communication. Same thing with, painting. I mean, in our group, we have artists from around the world, and I just saw a beautiful artist from Ghana who joined our Facebook group, and he got tons of people liking his art, and oh my God, the colors, it's so beautiful. And this is the kind of connection. It's the connection. And artists can be actually some of the best audience for their fellow artists. They get inspired, they learn. And others who aren't artists, they support it, and they come, up the scale.
Absolutely. And I think one of the key things is communication.
Absolutely.
And this art is the quality of communication.
Right, yes.
So there you go. Thank you so much. Look, can you give us a little bit of taste of your own art? I know that you have a song that you've written.
Yes, I'm just going to show, this is my Mission of the Artist book that I wrote that I had talked about. It's an inspirational book about a magical planet of artists who are creating these great effects, and then something goes awry, and but then they get back together lifetimes later, and that's actually a basis of foundation for Artists for Better Worlds when I was writing this book. And I have a song called The Renaissance. I'm just going to play a couple lines here from it, because this is really a message to the artists.
Good.
Come all ye artists, gather round, it's time for our rebirth. Now is the time that we must see our renaissance on earth. Dreams you've had throughout the years at times my creative one and find them today. There is room for everyone to share their own art, for each and every one of us play an important part. But if we want our dreams to make, and it's up to you and me, but we're the only ones who make them into reality. Okay, so this is a song I wrote called Wake Up Call. And with everything going on in the world and all the craziness, I thought, okay, well, people need a good wake-up call, and this is a message I wanted to get out. There's a wake-up call to the people of Earth. In the midst of chaos, there can be rebirth. When it seems like it will only get worse, good people will rise up and break the curse that's been holding us down for too long. When things that were right became wrong, united we shall be strong. And in the face of division, we the people have made a decision to take back our Constitution and the lives we create, to live with peace, not with hate. There's a wake-up call to the people of Earth. In the midst of chaos, there can be rebirth. When it seems like it will only get worse, good people will rise up and break the curse. We'll work and earn the living we deserve. We'll stand tall, let our voices be heard. United we shall be strong, and kids will have a good education, for they are the future of a nation. And artists will lead with inspiration. We shall go to temple and church. It's a right that can't be usurped. There's a wake-up call to the people of Earth.
Thank you so much, Barbara.
Thank you. So let's all create a renaissance together.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, you heard it.